Is Jane British or American?
American. Jane is a Yank. She an American.
Is she an Australian?
No, she isn't an Australian. She is an American.
Who is a Yank?
Jane. Jane is a Yank.
Is Jane sitting with a friend?
No, Jane isn't sitting with a friend. She's sitting in a restaurant alone.
Who is Jane sitting with?
None. She's sitting
She
with no one. Jane is sitting with Jane is sitting
Is
in
Jane
a
sitting in a
restaurant alone.
hotel?
No, she isn't sitting in a hotel. She's sitting in a restaurant.
Has Jane lived in Vietnam for 6 months?
No, Jane hasn't just left in Vietnam for 6 months. She had just arrived in Vietnam.
Where has she just arrived?
Vietnam. She had just arrived in Vietnam.
Has she just left Vietnam?
No, she hasn't just left Vietnam. She has just arrived in Vietnam.
Who walks to a restaurant?
Jane. Jane walked to a restaurant.
Where does she walk to?
Restaurant. A restaurant. She walked to a restaurant.
Does she walk to a cinema?
No, she doesn't have to a cinema. She walked to a restaurant.
Does Jane walk to a restaurant?
No, she doesn't walk to a restaurant. Yes, she is. Jane walked to a restaurant. She walked to a restaurant.
Does Jane take a taxi to a museum?
No, she doesn't take a taxi to a museum. She walked to a restaurant.
Does Jane have many friends in Vietnam?
No, she doesn't have many friends in Vietnam. She has no one. She has no one. She no one in Vietnam. She no
How
one
many
in
people
Vietnam.
does Jane know in Vietnam?
None. She don't have any friends in Vietnam. She don't have anyone in Vietnam. She no one in Vietnam.
Why is Jane sitting alone?
Because she no one in Vietnam. Because she no one in Vietnam.
Because
Jane is sitting alone because she no one in Vietnam.
why is Jane feeling lonely?
Jane is feeling lonely because she know no one and has no friends in Vietnam.
Is Jane feeling lonely because she has no job?
No, she isn't feeling lonely because she no job. She feeling lonely because she know no one and has no friends in Vietnam.
Does Jane have any friends in Vietnam?
Jane doesn't have any friends in Vietnam. She know no one and has no friends in Vietnam.
Does Quan sit outside the restaurant at a table?
No, he doesn't. Quang Quackson. He sits at the table next to Jen.
Does Quan walk out of the restaurant?
No, he doesn't. He walked in the restaurant. He walked in, ordered his food, and sit the table next to Jen.
Where does Quan sit in the restaurant?
Quang sat at the table next to Jen.
Who begins a conversation with Jane?
Quang begins a conversation with Jen. He begin to talk to her.
Does he finish a conversation with Jane?
No, he doesn't finish a conversation with Jen. He begins a conversation with Jen. He begins to talk to
What
Jen.
does Quan begin with Jane?
A conversation. Quan begins a conversation with Jen. He begins to talk to Jen.
Does Quan ask Jane questions to hire her for a job?
No, he doesn't. She doesn't ask Jane questions to hire her. For a job. Quan asks Jane questions to get to know
Does
her
Quan
better.
tell Jane a story to amuse Jane?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't tell Jane a story to amuse Jane. Quan asks Jane questions to get to know her better.
Does Jane refuse to talk to Quan?
No, Jane doesn't refuse to talk to Quan. Jane asks Quan her story and why she's in Vietnam.
What does Jane tell Quan?
Jane tells Quan about her story and why she's in Vietnam.
Does Jane sing songs to Quan?
No, Jane doesn't sing songs to Quan. Jane tells Quan her story and why she's in Vietnam.